Tonight, the Land of Ooo is quieter than usual. The stars hum softly above, like tiny lullabies scattered across the sky. And somewhere, far beyond the hills, a cool breeze drifts through the grass, carrying the scent of night-blooming flowers. Finn and Jake walk slowly along a narrow path, their footsteps light, their voices softer than usual. Jake stretches and yawns. Man, it's one of those nights, he murmurs. Finn nods, looking up at the sky. Yeah, it feels like everything's getting ready to sleep. Pause. And tonight, they've decided to do something special. Not an adventure, not a quest, but something quieter, something kinder. They're going to say goodnight to the gentle creatures of the dark, the first glow. As they wander deeper into the fields, the darkness doesn't feel empty. It feels alive. Not scary, not loud, just softly awake. Jake's ears perk up. Hey, you see that? Ahead, floating just above the grass, tiny lights flicker. Golden, warm, slow. Finn smiles. Fireflies. But these are different. They drift closer, not darting away, as if they recognize them. Jake whispers, "Whoa." They're kind of saying hi. The fireflies circle gently around them, their glow pulsing like a calm heartbeat. Finn lowers his voice. "Hey, little guys. It's bedtime, you know." Pause. The fireflies dim slightly, then brighten again, like they're listening. Jake chuckles softly. Guess they're not ready yet. Finn kneels down in the grass. That's okay. We're just here to say goodnight. He closes his eyes for a moment, breathing slowly. Good night, glowing friends. Thanks for lighting up the dark. One by one, the fireflies begin to drift upward, higher, slower, until they settle among the distant trees, like stars that decided to rest closer to the earth. Jake whispers, "Do they actually listen?" Finn smiles. "Yeah, they just needed someone to notice them first." The gentle rustle. They continue walking. The path curves, leading them toward a quiet patch of forest. The trees here are tall, their branches swaying softly, like they're breathing. A faint rustling sound follows them. Not loud, not threatening, just there. Jake glances behind. Okay, something's definitely following us. Finn turns slowly. "Hello?" Pause. From behind a tree, something small peeks out. Round eyes, soft fur. A tiny creature, no bigger than a backpack. It steps forward carefully, its tail swishing like a slow, sleepy wave. Jake relaxes. Oh, look at this little dude. The creature blinks, then sits down. Not afraid, just curious. Finn kneels again, keeping his voice calm. "Hey there, you out here all night?" The creature nods slightly, as if it understands. Jake tilts his head. Doesn't it get lonely? The creature looks toward the trees, then back at them. And somehow, in the quiet of the night, doesn't feel lonely at all. Finn smiles gently. "Well, we just wanted to say goodnight." The creature's ears twitch. Jake gives a small wave. "Yeah, little buddy. Time to get cozy." Pause. The creature curls into itself, wrapping its fluffy tail around its body. Its eyes slowly close. Finn whispers, "Sleep well, forest friend." The wind brushes through the leaves like a soft lullaby. The path grows softer. Finn and Jake walk on, slower now, quieter. like they become part of the night itself. Jake stretches again, his voice low and drowsy. This is kind of nice. Not punching anything, not running from anything. Finn laughs softly. Yeah, just being here. They reach a small clearing. The grass is smooth, almost glowing faintly in the moonlight. Finn sits down. Jake flops beside him. They both look up at the sky. Long pause. The stars shimmer gently. And for a moment, everything feels perfectly still. Jake murmurs, "You think all the spooky stuff out here is actually just misunderstood?" Finn thinks for a moment. "Yeah, I think most of them are just trying to rest. Same as us." A soft promise. Finn stands slowly. "Come on, we've got more good nights to say." Jake groans playfully but gets up. "All right, but next creature better be extra cozy." They step back onto the path, and as they walk, the night seems to welcome them deeper. Not darker, just softer. Somewhere ahead, a faint bluish glow flickers between the trees. Not like the fireflies. Something bigger. Something waiting. Finn notices it first. "Hey, Jake?" Jake squints. "Oh yeah, I see it." Pause. Finn smiles quietly. "Let's go say goodnight." The path ahead grows quieter. As Finn and Jake step deeper into the trees, the soft grass gives way to cool earth, and the air feels just a little bit colder, but not unkind. Above them, branches weave together like a ceiling of shadows, with thin ribbons of starlight slipping through. And there, just ahead, that faint bluish glow, it pulses gently, like a calm breath. Finn slows his steps. "Easy does it?" Jake nods, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yeah, no rush." They move closer, carefully, quietly, until the glow begins to take shape. The sleeping light. In the center of a small hollow rests a creature unlike anything they've seen before. It's curled into itself, almost like it's hugging its own light. Its body is soft and rounded, made of something like mist, or maybe very fine fur. And from within it, that blue glow shines. Not bright, not harsh, just enough to gently light the space around it. Jake's eyes widen. Whoa. Finn crouches slowly, careful not to make a sound. It's sleeping. The creature breathes in, and the glow brightens slightly, then breathes out, and the light softens again, like a living lantern, or a heartbeat made of light. Jake sits down beside Finn. "That's kinda beautiful." Pause. The forest around them seems to lean in, as if even the trees are being quiet, so the creature can rest. A gentle visitor. Finn places his hand lightly on the ground. "We should be extra quiet," he whispers. Jake nods. "Yeah, I wouldn't want to wake it up." But just then, the creature stirs, very slightly. Its glow flickers, like a candle noticing a breeze. Finn freezes. Jake holds his breath. Slowly, the creature uncurls just a little. And from within the soft blue light, two small, glowing eyes open. They blink once, twice. Not startled, not afraid, just aware. Jake gives a tiny wave. "Hey there." Pause. The creature watches them. Its glow shifts from a cool blue to a warmer, softer hue. Finn smiles gently. "We didn't mean to wake you. We were just passing through." The creature tilts its head, as if listening not just to the word, but to the feeling behind them, the language of light. For a moment, No one speaks, but something else happens. The creature's glow begins to change, slowly, softly, fading into pale blues, then hints of lavender, then a calm, silvery shimmer. Jake whispers, "Dude, it's like it's talking, without talking." Finn nods. "I think it understands us." The creature shifts closer, not walking, not crawling, just gently drifting across the ground, like fog guided by intention. It stops a small distance away, close enough to share its warmth. Jake relaxes completely. "Okay, yeah, this guy's chill." Finn places a hand over his heart. "We're saying goodnight to everyone out here tonight." Pause. The creature's glow softens again, becoming steady, peaceful, almost like a quiet smile, a shared stillness. Finn sits cross-legged. Jake stretches out beside him, resting his head on his arm. The creature settles too, its glow dimming just slightly, as if it feels safe again. For a while, no one moves. No one needs to. The night wraps around them, like a blanket. The trees whisper gently overhead. Their leaves brushing together in slow rhythms. Jake murmurs sleepily, "You think it gets lonely out here?" Finn shakes his head very softly. "No, I think it is the calm." Pause. The creature's light pulses once, as if in agreement, a gift of quiet light. After a while, the creature lifts itself slightly, its glow growing just a bit brighter, not enough to startle, just enough to be noticed. Finn leans forward. "Hey!" From within the soft light, a tiny fragment separates. A small floating spark, no bigger than a pebble. It drifts toward Finn, slowly, carefully, and stops right in front of him. Jake lifts his head. "Is that for us?" Finn holds out his hand. The tiny light settles into his palm. It's warm, but not hot. Soft, like holding a piece of a dream. The creature's glow dims slightly, but remains calm. Finn whispers, "Thank you." A small light flickers once, then steadies. Jake smiles. "Man, that's like the coziest gift ever." Time to rest again. The creature begins to curl back into itself, its glow slowly returning to that steady breathing rhythm. In soft light, out, gentle dimness. Finn carefully places a tiny glowing spark into his pouch. "We'll take good care of it." Jake nods. "Yeah, promise." Pause. Finn leans in slightly. "Good night. Keep her the quiet light." Jake adds softly, "Sleep real good, okay?" The creature's glow pulses one last time. Slow, calm, content. Then it settles, back into sleep, walking onward. Finn and Jake stand slowly, careful not to disturb the stillness. As they step away, the clearing behind them fades into shadow, but the feeling of it stays. Jake stretches with a quiet yawn. "Okay, that one might be my favorite so far." Finn smiles. "Yeah, me too." They continue along the path, but now there's a faint blue glow traveling with them, softly shining from Finn's pouch, lighting their way just enough. Jake notices. "Hey, it's like we brought a little piece of the night with us." Finn nods. "Or maybe it's guiding us to the next one. Something by the water." The trees begin to thin. The air shifts again. Cooler now, with the faint sound of water nearby. A slow, gentle trickling. Jake's ears perk up. Ooh, you hear that? Finn smiles. A stream. They follow the sound, step by step, until the forest opens into a quiet, moonlit bank. The water glows faintly silver, reflecting the sky above. And near the edge, something moves. Not fast. Not sudden. Just a slow ripple beneath the surface. Jake leans closer. Okay, what is that? Finn crouches beside the water. Let's find out. Pause. The ripple grows clearer. A shape begins to rise. Smooth, quiet, and glowing ever so faintly from beneath the water. Finn whispers, "Hey there." The surface of the stream barely moves. Just a soft ripple, spreading outward, as something beneath it begins to rise. Finn and Jake stay very still, not frozen in fear, just respectful, like standing in a quiet room where something ancient is resting. The faint blue light from Finn's pouch glows gently, reflecting across the water. And for a moment, it almost looks like the stream is breathing. The first shape. The ripple grows wider, slower, heavier. Jake whispers, "Okay, this one's a little spooky." Finn nods softly. "Yeah, but not bad spooky." Pause. From beneath the water, a shape begins to form. Long, smooth, gliding upward without a sound. The surface doesn't break right away. It stretches, like the water itself is making space. Then, gently, something emerges. The watching eyes. Two eyes open first. Dim, pale, glowing faintly beneath the surface. Not bright, not sharp. Just watching. Jake leans back slightly. It's looking right at us. Finn doesn't move. Yeah, I think it's been watching for a while. Pause. The creature rises just enough for its face to become visible. Soft, rounded, almost mask-like, with no harsh edges. Water slips off it in slow lines, like the night itself is dripping away. It doesn't lunge, doesn't rush. It just stays there, half in the water, half in the world above it. The quiet tension. For a moment, no one speaks. The forest behind them feels far away now. The wind is stilled. Even the leaves seem to wait. Jake whispers, "Do we say hi, or?" Finn breathes slowly. "Yeah, we always say hi." He leans forward slightly. Not too close. Just enough. "Hey there." Pause. The creature doesn't respond right away. Its eyes flicker once, and the water around it darkens slightly. Not dangerous. Just deeper. Like looking into a place that has no bottom. Jake swallows quietly. It's kind of like the dark. Is part of it. Finn nods. Or maybe it is the dark. A memory in the water. The creature shifts, very slowly. The surface ripples again, and suddenly, something changes. The water begins to reflect more than just the sky. Shapes move within it. Faint at first, then clearer. Jake squints. "Wait, what am I seeing?" Finn looks closer. "That's us. But not them right now. Something else. A memory. Finn as a kid, running through a field. Jake chasing butterflies. Laughter. Sunlight. Warmth. Then it fades. Replaced by another. A quiet night. Much like this one. But lonelier. Jake whispers, "Dude." The creature's eyes remain fixed on them. Unblinking. not showing the memories, just holding them. Not all darkness is empty. Finn speaks softly. You remember things, don't you? Pause. The creature tilts its head, just slightly. The water around it shifts again, this time darker, deeper, colder, but still not harmful, just honest. Jake murmurs, "It's like it keeps all the quiet stuff people forget." Finn nods. "Yeah, the stuff that doesn't disappear." Pause. The creature moves a little closer. The water follows it, stretching toward the shore, but stopping just before touching them. A boundary. Respected. Always. The eerie calm. The blue light in Finn's pouch flickers softly. The creature notices. Its eyes shift, just slightly, drawn to the glow. Finn slowly takes the tiny light out, holding it carefully. It's okay. This was a gift. The small light glows warmer in his hand. The creature leans forward, just a little more, and for a moment, the eerie feeling deepens. The shadows stretch longer. The water darkens further. Jake whispers, "Okay, yeah, this part's definitely spooky." But Finn stays calm. "It's just curious." Pause. The creature's face comes closer to the surface, closer to the light, and then, very gently, it exhales, the breath of the deep. A soft mist spreads across the water, cool, silent. It reaches the edge of the shore, brushing lightly against Finn's boots. Not cold, not wet, just there. And in that moment, the blue light flickers, then steadies, stronger, brighter, but still soft. Jake blinks. Did it just help it? Finn smiles faintly. "Yeah, I think it did." Understanding the dark, the creature slowly pulls back. The water retreats with it. The darkness lightens slightly. Not gone, just balanced. Finn nods respectfully. "Thanks for watching over things." Pause. Jake adds quietly, "And for not being the scary kind of scary." The creature's eyes soften, just barely, but enough. Then, slowly, it begins to sink. Back into the water. The surface closes around it, without a splash, without a sound. Only ripples remain, spreading outward until the stream is still again. "Good night, Keeper of the Deep." Finn kneels one last time. "Good night, Keeper of the Deep Water." Jake gives a small wave. "Sleep easy down there, okay?" The stream glows faintly for a moment, as if responding, then fades back to silver. Leaving the water behind, Finn and Jake stand. The air feels lighter now. Still quiet, but no longer heavy. Oh, Jake stretches slowly. "All right, that one was definitely the creepiest so far." Finn smiles. "Yeah, but also kind of peaceful." Jake nods. "Yeah, like the kind of creepy that watches over you." The next path, they step away from the stream, back onto the path. The forest begins to change again. The trees thin out, and the ground becomes softer, almost like sand. In the distance, something new appears. Tall shapes, standing still, not moving, not glowing, just waiting. Jake squints. Finn?" Finn looks ahead. "Yeah, I see them." Pause. "Let's go say goodnight." The path beneath their feet softens, each step quieter than the last, until even the sound of walking seems to fade into the night. Finn and Jake move forward slowly, toward the tall shapes waiting in the distance. They don't sway. They don't shift. They don't breathe. They simply stand. The field without wind. As the trees fall away behind them, they enter a wide, open field. The sky stretches endlessly above, full of dim, scattered stars. But here, something feels different. There is no wind, not even a whisper. The grass stands perfectly still, like it forgot how to move. Jake lowers his voice instinctively. Okay, that's weird. Finn nods. Yeah, everything's too still. Pause. Ahead of them, the shapes become clearer. Tall, thin, some bent slightly, others straight like pillars. At first glance, they look like trees, but they are not trees. The first close look. Jake slows down. Finn. Finn answers quietly. I know. They approach carefully. One of the shapes stands closest, about twice Finn's height. Its surface is pale, almost like stone, but softer, smoother. And where branches should be, there are long curved extensions, hanging downward, like arms at rest. Jake whispers, "Are those arms?" Pause. Finn steps closer, very slowly. I think so. The shape does not move, does not react, but somehow it feels aware. The watching without eyes. There are no eyes, no face, no mouth, nothing that should allow it to see. And yet, as Finn shifts his weight slightly, there's a feeling, a subtle pull in the air, like a tension. Jake swallows quietly. I don't like how it's noticing us. Finn stays calm. It's not chasing us, not hiding. Pause. It's just being here. Jake nods slowly. Yeah, but it's doing it really intensely. The circle of stillness. They look around. There isn't just one. There are many. Dozens. Spread across the field. All standing in silence. All unmoving. Each one slightly different in shape. Some taller. Some bent. Some with longer arms that almost touch the ground. And all of them facing slightly inward, toward the center of the field. Jake whispers, "Why do I feel like we walked into something?" Finn glances toward the middle. Yeah, like we're not the first ones here. Pause. The silence deepens. So thick, it almost hums. A step too loud. Jake takes a step forward. Just one. And the sound, even that small sound, feels too loud. The moment his foot touches the ground, something changes. Not movement, not sound, but presence. Every single one of the tall figures feels closer. Not physically, but in awareness. Jake freezes. Okay, they definitely heard that. Finn raises a hand slightly. Don't rush. Don't panic. Pause. The field holds its breath. The almost movement. Finn looks back at the nearest figure. Did that one just... Jake leans in slightly. Move? Pause. It's hard to tell. There was no clear motion. No step. No shift. But its arm, if it is an arm, seems slightly lower than before. Just a little. So small, it could almost be imagined. Jake whispers, I don't like that. Finn speaks gently. It's okay. Pause. Maybe they only move when we're not looking. Jake slowly turns his head. Please don't say stuff like that right now. Understanding the still ones, Finn takes a slow breath, then speaks softly. Not to Jake, but to them. Hey, we're just passing through. Pause. No response. No movement. But the silence changes. It softens. Just a little. Jake notices. Wait. He relaxes slightly. It doesn't feel as heavy now. Finn nods. They're listening. The purpose of standing still. Finn looks around the field. At all the figures. I think this is what they do. Jake tilts his head. Stand around and be creepy? Finn smiles faintly. Stand around and watch. Pause. Not in a bad way. Jake considers that. Like guards? Finn nods slowly. Yeah, guards of something quiet. The center of the field. They begin to walk again. Slower than before. More careful. Toward the center. As they move, the figures seem to subtly shift their attention. Not moving, but following. Always aware. Jake whispers. They're letting us through. Finn smiles. Yeah. Pause. I think they're making sure we leave safely too. A gentle acknowledgement. When they reach the center, Finn stops, turns slowly, and speaks in a calm, steady voice. Thank you for keeping the night safe. Jake adds, quieter now, even if you're kind of spooky about it. Oh, pause. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, a soft sound, barely there. Like stone settling, or grass brushing against something unseen. And just for a second, one of the tall figures bows. Not fully, just a slight dip. So small, so slow. It almost disappears into stillness. Jake exhales. Okay, yeah, they're cool. Leave them to feel. They walk toward the far side. The silence begins to lift. Little by little. The grass moves again, just slightly. The air feels lighter. Behind them, the figures remain. Standing. Watching. Still. But no longer unsettling. Just present. The next darkness. As they leave the field, the ground changes again. Softer. Warmer. And ahead. A low hill rises. At its base, a wide, dark opening. Not glowing. Not moving. Just open. Jake slows down. All right, that's a cave. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. Jake looks at him. We going in? Finn smiles gently. We're saying goodnight to everyone. Jake sighs softly. Of course we are. A deeper kind of quiet. They step closer to the cave. The darkness inside is thicker, heavier. Not empty, but full of something unseen. The tiny blue light in Finn's pouch flickers again, as if reacting. Jake whispers, Okay, this one's gonna be the real spooky one, huh? Finn takes a calm breath. Maybe. Pause. Or maybe it's just another creature, waiting to be told goodnight. The cave waits, wide, open, and completely still. No wind enters it. No sound leaves it. Just a quiet, heavy darkness. Resting inside the hill, the first step inside. Finn takes the first step. His foot touches the stone, and the sound, soft as it is, echoes. Once, then fades. Jake follows close behind. Okay, yeah. This is the kind of place where sounds don't come back, right? Finn nods quietly. Yeah. Pause. Or they take their time. The blue light in Finn's pouch flickers gently, casting soft shadows along the cave walls. They stretch longer. They stretch longer than they should, then settle. The cave that listens. They walk deeper, each step slower than the last. The air grows cooler, but not cold. Still, thick, as if the cave is not empty. But listening, Jake lowers his voice instinctively. You feel that? Finn nods. Yeah? Pause. Like we're not the only ones here. Jake glances behind them. The entrance is still visible, but farther now. Smaller. I don't think I like caves that feel aware. Finn answers gently. I don't think it's watching us. Pause. I think it's noticing us. The walls begin to breathe. The deeper they go, the more the cave changes. The walls are no longer rough stone. They are smoother, curved, almost shaped. Jake runs his hand along one side. Dude, pause. This doesn't feel like rock. Finn touches it too. It's warm, not hot, just alive enough to notice. Yeah. Pause. This cave isn't just a cave. Jake exhales slowly. Okay. Cool. We're inside something, aren't we? Finn doesn't answer right away, but his silence has enough. The distant sound from deep within, a sound, low, slow, almost too quiet to hear. A long, drawn-out exhale. Jake freezes. You heard that? Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. Another sound. A soft inhale. The walls around them seem to shift slightly. Not moving, but responding. Jake whispers. It's breathing. Not trapped, just held. Jake turns slightly toward the entrance. We can still leave, right? Finn looks back. The opening is still there. Small, but real. Yeah, we can leave any time. Pause. Jake relaxes just a little. Okay. Then he looks forward again. But we're not gonna. Finn smiles faintly. No. Pause. We came to say goodnight. The heart of the cave. They continue forward. The passage widens. The ceiling rises. Until suddenly, they step into a vast, open chamber. Huge. Endless in darkness above. The blue light barely reaches the edges. And in the center, something rests. The shape in the dark. At first, it looks like a hill, or a mound of stone, too large to fully see. Too still to understand. Jake whispers. Finn. Finn answers softly. I see it. Pause. That's not rock. The shape shifts, just slightly. A slow rising motion. Then stillness again, like something sleeping, very deeply. The gentle giant. The sound returns. That slow inhale, that long exhale, and now they can feel it. The air moves with it. The ground hums softly beneath their feet. Jake swallows. That thing is huge. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. And it's been here a long time. Eyes that open slowly. As they watch, two enormous shapes form in the darkness. Eyes, closed at first, blended into the surface. Almost invisible. Then, slowly, they open. Not wide, not suddenly, Just enough. Dim light glows within them. Ancient. Tired. But calm. Jake barely breathes. It's awake. Finn steps forward. Just one step. Not too close. Hey! The weight of being seen. The eyes focus. Not sharply. Not like a predator. But like something remembering how to look. Jake feels it immediately. Whoa. Pause. It's like it sees everything at once. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. But it's not judging. The creature doesn't move, doesn't rise. It simply exists, watching them quietly. A voice without sound. Then, something changes. Not in the air, not in the ground, but in their minds. A feeling, deep, slow, like a thought that isn't theirs. A presence, old, gentle, heavy with time. Jake whispers, "Is it talking?" Finn closes his eyes for a moment. Not with words. Pause. But yeah, what it knows. Images flicker softly in their thoughts. Not sharp, not overwhelming, just impressions. Long nights, endless quiet. Creatures passing through, resting, leaving, returning. The cave, not as a trap, but as a place to sleep. A place to be held by the dark. Jake exhales slowly. It's not scary. Pause. It's just big. Finn smiles softly. Yeah. Saying goodnight to the Ancient One. Finn places a hand over his chest. We're just saying goodnight. Pause. To everyone out here. The giant's eyes soften. The faint glow within them dims slightly. Like a nod. Jake adds quietly. You're doing a good job. Being a cave. A long pause. Then, a deep, slow exhale. Warmer than before. The air moves gently around them. Like a blanket being pulled closer. A gift of stillness. The blue light in Finn's hand glows brighter. The giant watches it. Then, very slowly, a faint glow appears along the walls. Not bright, just enough. Soft patterns of light, like distant stars buried in stone. The whole chamber becomes calm. Even, balance, Jake smiles. It's helping us see. Finn nods. Yeah. Time to leave. Finn bows his head slightly. Good night. Pause. Rest well. Jake waves gently. Sleep big, okay? The giant's eyes close. Slowly. Returning to stillness. The breathing continues. Deep. Calm. Endless. The way out. Finn and Jake turn. The path back feels shorter now. Lighter. The cave no longer heavy. Just quiet. Jake stretches as they walk. Okay. That was the biggest thing I've ever said goodnight to. Finn laughs softly. Yeah. Pause. And maybe the sleepiest. Back to the night. They step out of the cave. The night air greets them. Cool. Gentle. The stars feel closer now. Jake takes a deep breath. Man outside feels different after that. Finn nods. Yeah, like we understand the dark a little more. The final path ahead of them. The land opens once more. A gentle hill rises in the distance. And at the top, a soft, warm glow. Not eerie, not strange, just peaceful. Jake smiles sleepily. That looks like the last stop. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. Time to say the final goodnight. The hill ahead glows softly. Not bright. Not calling for attention. Just waiting. Finn and Jake walk toward it. Their steps lighter now, their voices quieter, as if the night itself is beginning to rest. Climbing the final hill, the ground feels warm beneath their feet. Not hot, just gently comforting, like the earth has been holding onto the day's sunlight and is now letting it go. Jake stretches as they walk. Man, I'm getting sleepy. Finn smiles. Yeah. Pause. I think that's the point. The soft glow at the top of the hill grows clearer. Golden. Calm. Steady. The place where night rests. When they reach the top, they stop. And for a moment, they don't speak. Because what they see is quiet in a different way. At the center of the hill, there's no creature, no shape, no figure, just a wide open space filled with soft, glowing light, like a place where everything comes to rest. Jake whispers, "What is this?" Finn looks around slowly. I think. Pause. This is where the night goes to sleep. All the good nights gather. The air here feels familiar. Not new, not strange, but gently known. And as they stand there, something begins to happen. One by one, soft lights appear around them. Tiny at first, then clearer. Jake blinks. Hey. Pause. Those are the fireflies. Finn nods. Yeah. From the edge of the hill, a small shape curls into the grass. The forest creature, its tail wrapped gently around itself, already half asleep. Near the base of the hill, a faint shimmer, like water reflecting the sky. The presence of the deep, quiet watcher, still there, still calm, and far behind them, at the edge of sight, tall silhouettes stand in stillness, the silent guardians of the field. Watching, peaceful, unmoving. Jake exhales softly. They're all here. Finn smiles. Yeah. Pause. Everyone we said goodnight to. Nothing is alone. The glow at the center of the hill grows warmer. Not brighter, just fuller, like a shared breath. Jake sits down slowly. So, none of them were alone. Finn sits beside him. No. Pause. They just live in different kinds of quiet. The tiny blue light from Finn's pouch rises gently into the air, floating, drifting. It joins the others, becoming just one more soft glow among many. Jake watches it. You think it belongs here? Finn nods. Yeah. The night breathing together, everything settles. The lights drift slowly, like a sky that came down to rest on the earth. The creatures do not speak, do not move much, but they are all there, together, in the same calm. Jake leans back onto the grass. This is nice. Finn does the same. Yeah. Pause. Really nice. The sky above them deepens. Stars glowing softer now, as if they, too, are getting ready to sleep. A final understanding. Jake's voice is slower now, almost drifting. You know. Pause. I used to think the dark was just empty. Finn closes his eyes halfway. Yeah. Jake continues softly. But it's not. Pause. It's full of stuff that's just quiet. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. And most of it is just resting. Saying goodnight to everything. Finn takes a slow breath, then speaks, gently, into the night. Good night To the glowing ones, pause. Good night. To the quiet watchers, pause. Good night. To the ones who remember, pause. Good night. To the ones who stand still, pause. Good night. To the ones who sleep deep in the earth, Jake adds softly. And good night to the dark, pause. For being gentle. The light fades softly. The glow around them begins to dim. Not suddenly, not completely, just enough. Like a room where the lights are slowly turned down. So sleep can come easier. The fireflies drift lower, settling. The small forest creature curls tighter, breathing slow. The distant water becomes still, like a mirror at rest. The tall figures remain, but softer now. Barely shapes, barely there. Jake's voice is almost a whisper now. Finn. Finn hums quietly. Yeah? You think they'll be okay? Long pause. Finn answers gently. Yeah. Pause. They've always been okay. Drifting to sleep, the hill grows quieter. The sky darker, but softer. The last of the glow settles into the ground, like warmth sinking into a blanket. Finn's breathing slows. Jake's too. Neither of them moves anymore. Not asleep just yet, but close. Very close. The last good night. And somewhere. Not from Finn. Not from Jake. But from the night itself. A feeling. Soft, warm, endless. Good night. Tonight, the sky over the Land of Ooo is softer than usual. The stars don't sparkle. They glow, steady, calm, like they're watching over something hidden far below. A path no one talks about it. Finn and Jake walk along a narrow dirt road, one they don't remember taking before. The grass on either side is tall, brushing gently against their legs, whispering as they pass. Jake looks around slowly. Hey, Finn? Finn hums. Yeah? Jake squints into the distance. Have we been here before? Pause. Finn shakes his head. I don't think so. The road stretches ahead, smooth, unbroken, as if it has been waiting. The feeling of being guided. There's no sign pointing the way, no map, no trail markers. And yet, they keep walking forward. Not lost, not confused, just gently guided. Jake yawns. This place feels weird. Pause. But like, good weird. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. Like it knows where we're going. The first shadow that moves. The moon hangs low tonight, casting long shadows across the road. Most of them stay where they should, attached to rocks, trees, the boys themselves. But one does not. Jake stops. Finn. Finn turns. What? Jake points quietly. That shadow. Pause. It stretches along the ground. Thin, soft-edged. Moving slightly. Even though nothing around it moves. Finn watches carefully. Huh. Pause. It's not attached to anything. Jake leans closer. Do you think it's alive? The shadow stills, as if it heard. Not all shadows are empty. Finn kneels slowly, not reaching out, just observing. Hey there. Pause. The shadow shifts, barely, like a breath across the ground. Jake whispers, okay? It definitely heard that. Finn smiles gently. We're not here to bother you. Pause. Just passing through. The shadow stretches, then slowly pulls back, sliding across the dirt road until it rests beside a tree. And then it matches the tree's shadow perfectly. Still, quiet, unnoticeable. Jake blinks. Pause. It just hit. Finn stands. Yeah. Pause. Maybe that's what they do. The village appears. They keep walking. The road curves slightly, and the air begins to change. Warmer, stiller, quieter. And then they see it. A village. Small, tucked gently between low hills. Houses with soft, rounded shapes. Windows glowing faintly. But no movement inside. No voices. No footsteps. Jake slows down. Okay. That's kind of spooky. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. But not in a bad way. No one outside. They step into the village. The ground here is smooth stone. Worn, but clean. The houses are close together, almost leaning toward one another, like they're sharing secrets. Jake looks around. Where is everybody, Pause. No answer. No doors open. No lights flicker. Just stillness. Finn walks a little further in. Maybe they're asleep. Jake rubs the back of his neck. At the same time, the second movement, a soft sound. Not loud, just a faint shift. Jake turns quickly. There, on the wall of a nearby house, the shadow moves, sliding slowly along the surface, longer than the shape that should be casting it. Finn steps closer. It's happening again. Pause. The shadow stretches, then splits, just slightly, as if separating into two. Jake whispers, okay, that's new. The village secret. Finn looks around carefully. At the ground. At the walls. At the spaces between buildings. Jake. Pause. Look closely. Jake squints, and then he sees it. Shadows everywhere. But not just from objects. Some too long. Some facing the wrong direction. Some moving. Just a little. Even when everything else is still. Jake's voice softens. Oh. Pause. They're all alive. Not watching. Guarding. For a moment. The feeling returns. That quiet awareness. But different from before. Not curious. Not observing. Protective. Jake whispers, they're not watching us. Finn nods slowly. No? Pause. They're watching for something. A door opens without sound. One of the houses, right at the edge of the path, this door creaks open. but no sound comes out. Just movement. Slow, gentle, inviting. Jake leans closer to Finn. You thinking what I'm thinking? Finn smiles slightly. Yeah. Pause. We should go say hello. The shadows follow. As they walk toward the door, the shadows shift. Not rushing. Not surrounding. Just adjusting. Keeping close. Keeping pace. Like quiet guardians moving in the dark. Jake glances down. One shadow stretches beside his foot, then pulls back slightly, as if making space for him. Okay? Pause. That's actually kind of nice. The threshold. Finn reaches the doorway, stops, looks inside. The room beyond is dim, warm, peaceful, but empty. At least, at first glance. Finn speaks softly. Hello? Pause. The shadows inside the room move. Slowly, gathering, not forming a shape, but becoming present. Jake whispers, I think this is their place. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. And I think we're safe here. A gentle invitation. The shadows on the floor shift again, forming a soft path inward. Not forcing, not pulling. Just offering. Jake exhales slowly. All right. Pause. Let's see what kind of village this is. Finn steps inside. Jake follows. And the door closes behind them. Without a sound, the door closes. Without a sound. Not a click, not a creak, just closed. Inside the quiet house, Finn and Jake stand still for a moment, letting their eyes adjust. The room is simple. A small table, 2 chairs, a shelf with a few quiet objects. Nothing out of place, nothing disturbed, and yet no one is there. Jake whispers, Okay. Pause. This is definitely someone's house. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. But they're not here right now. The shadows gather. At their feet, the shadows begin to move. Not quickly. Not suddenly. Just slowly. Like ink spreading through water. They stretch across the floor, climbing gently up the walls, meeting in the corners. Jake watches closely. They're all coming together. Finn kneels down again. Hey, pause. We're not here to mess anything up. The shadows pause, just slightly, as if listening. A language without words. One shadow stretches forward. Long, thin, soft-edged. It reaches toward Finn's hand, then stops just before touching. Jake leans in. It's like they're careful. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. They don't want to scare us. The shadow shifts again, drawing a shape along the floor. A line, then another. Slowly forming something. Jake squints. Is that a map? The shape of the village. The shadows continue. Lines extend. Curves connect. Until the outline becomes clear. The village, every house, every path, even the hill outside. All drawn in soft, shifting darkness. Finn watches quietly. They're showing us where we are. Jake nods. Yeah. Pause. But why? The missing center. Finn leans closer. Wait. Pause. Something's not there. At the center of the shadow map, there is an empty space. No lines. No shapes. Just a small, untouched gap. Jake frowns. Did they forget something? The shadows ripple slightly. Not defensive. Not confused. Just deliberate. Finn's voice softens. No. Pause. They left it out. What they don't show. The room grows quieter. If that's even possible. The shadows pull back slightly, as if giving the empty space distance. Jake lowers his voice. Okay, that part's important. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. And they don't want to draw it. A flicker in the window. A faint movement catches Jake's eye. Finn? Finn turns. At the window. The outside looks the same. Still, silent up. But for just a moment, something passes by. Not a shadow. Something else. Quick. Thin. Wrong somehow. Jake whispers. Did you see that? Finn nods slowly. Yeah. Pause. That wasn't one of them. The shadows react. Immediately. The shadows in the room change. They pull tighter to the walls. Thicker. Darker. More solid. Not aggressive, but alert. Jake steps back slightly. Okay. Now they're definitely guarding something. Finn stands. Yeah. Pause. And it's not us. The feeling outside. The air shifts. Just a little. Like something passed through the village without touching anything, but being noticed anyway. Jake looks toward the door. You think that thing's still out there? Finn listens. Not with his ears, but with that same quiet feeling. No. Pause. I think it moved on. Why the village is empty. Jake glances around again. At the empty chairs, the still table, the untouched room. So where is everyone? The shadows soften again, not fully relaxing, but easing. One shadow stretches toward the wall, climbing slowly upward until it reaches the ceiling. Then it spreads, wide, thin, forming shapes again. Not a map this time. Something else. Jake squints. What is that? Finn watches carefully. I think. Pause. Showing us. The hidden residence. The shapes become clearer. Figures. Not made of shadow, but outlined by it. People. Sleeping. Curled in soft, quiet spaces. Not in beds. Not in houses, meased, hidden, tucked safely beneath floors, within walls, inside places where light doesn't reach. Jake's eyes widen slightly. They're hiding. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. They sleep while the shadows stay awake. The true guardians. The shadows ripple gently, as if confirming. Jake whispers. So they protect them. Finn smiles softly. Yeah. Pause. They keep watch, so no one else has to. Jake looks down at the floor, at the shadow near his feet. That's actually really nice. A promise without words. The shadow that first reached toward Finn returns. Slowly. Carefully. It rests near his hand again. Closer this time. Not touching, but near. Finn lowers his hand slightly. We won't bring anything bad here. Pause. Promise. The shadow stills, then gently pulls back, satisfied. Time to move carefully. Jake looks toward the door. So, what do we do now? Finn thinks for a moment. We keep moving. Pause. But quiet. Jake nods. Yeah. Pause. Don't wake anybody up. The door opens again, without being touched. The door slowly opens. Same as before. Silent. Smooth. The outside remains calm. Still. But now, they understand it better. Jake takes a soft breath. All right? Pause. We're in the night shift now. Finn smiles slightly. Yeah. Stepping back outside. They step out together. The door closes behind them. And the shadows of the village shift again. Not just moving, but watching, listening, protecting. Jake glances down the path. So we're walking through a place, pause, where the shadows keep everyone safe. Finn nods. Yeah, pause. So let's be good guests. Something at the edge. At the far end of the village, near where the road disappears into darkness, there's a faint distortion. Not movement, not light, just something slightly off. Jake squints. Finn. Finn sees it too. Yeah. Pause. That's probably what they got in against. Jake exhales slowly. Cool. Pause. Let's go say goodnight to that too. The far end of the village feels thinner, not emptier. Just less certain. Like the night there isn't as settled. Finn and Jake walk slowly toward it. Their footsteps softer now, more careful, as if the ground itself is listening. Where the shadows stay behind, as they move forward, something subtle begins to change. The shadows do not follow as closely. Jake notices first. Finn. Pause. Look. He points gently. The shadows that once stretched beside them now stop a few steps behind. Not gone. Not afraid. Just holding their place. Finn watches carefully. They don't go past this point. Jake frowns slightly. So this is like the edge? Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. Their edge. A line you don't cross lightly. The ground beneath their feet shifts. From smooth stone to softer earth. Darker. Cooler. The air feels different here. Still quiet. But no longer warm. Jake lowers his voice. Okay. Pause. This is where it gets weird. Finn smiles faintly. Yeah. Pause. But we'll go slow. The first distortion. Ahead of them. The faint distortion becomes clearer. It's not a shape. Not exactly. More like the air itself is bending. Like heat above a flame, but colder. Jake squints. I can't tell where it starts. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. It doesn't really have edges. They stop a few steps away. Not too close. Not too far. Just enough to notice. Something that doesn't settle. The distortion shifts slightly. Not moving forward. Not moving back. Just changing. Like it can't decide what it is. Jake whispers, I don't think this thing knows how to stay still. Finn nods. Yeah? Pause. It's not like the others. Behind them, the village remains calm. The shadows steady. Watching. Waiting. A presence without form. Finn takes a slow breath. Hey! Pause. We're just passing through. The distortion reacts. Not strongly, but enough. It ripples. Like a surface touched by a quiet drop of water. Jake stiffens slightly. It heard you. Finn keeps his voice calm. Yeah. Pause. But it doesn't understand the same way. The feeling of being unseen. For the first time tonight, something feels different. Not dangerous, but unfamiliar. The distortion doesn't look at them, doesn't focus. It doesn't even seem to recognize them as shapes. Jake whispers, "It's not looking at us." Pause. It's like it doesn't even know we're here. Finn nods slowly. "Yeah." Pause. Maybe it sees everything the same. What the shadows protect against, Jake glances back at the village. "So this is what they keep out?" Finn follows his gaze. "Yeah." Pause. "Not something neat. Just something that doesn't belong inside." Jake tilts his head, like a noise in a quiet room. Finn smiles softly. "Exactly. A step too close." Jake shifts his foot slightly forward. Just a small step, but enough. The distortion reacts immediately. It stretches, not toward him, but around the space he moved into. Like it's trying to understand the gap he left behind. Jake freezes. "Okay." "Nope." He slowly steps back. The distortion settles again. Not chasing, not holding. Just returning to its strange, shifting state. Finn speaks gently. It doesn't want anything. Pause. It just doesn't know where to be. The sound that isn't a sound. A faint sensation fills the air. Not a noise. Not exactly. More like the idea of a sound. Something almost heard, but never fully. Jake rubs his arm. "You feel that?" Finn nods. "Yeah." Pause. Like something trying to exist properly. A soft boundary. Behind them, the shadows begin to stretch again. Slowly. Carefully. Not crossing the line, but reaching toward it. Forming a soft, dark edge. Like a border. Jake notices. They're not coming closer. Pause. "But they're still helping." Finn nods. "Yeah." Pause. "They're keeping the line steady." A gentle understanding. Finn looks back at the distortion. "You don't have to come in there." Pause. "It's okay to stay out here." The distortion ripples again. Slower this time. Less scattered. Jake watches closely. "I think..." Pause. It's calming down. Not everything needs a place inside. The air steadies. Just a little. The distortion becomes softer. Less sharp. More like a quiet blur than a broken space. Finn smiles faintly. "Yeah." Pause. It just needed the boundary. Jake exhales. "Man?" Pause. "That's actually kind of sad." Finn nods. "Yeah." Pause. "But not everything has to belong everywhere." Saying goodnight at the edge, Finn steps back fully, returning to where the shadows feel warmer. Jake follows. "So, we don't bring it in?" "Nah." Finn shakes his head gently. "No." Pause. "We just leave it where it can be." Jake nods. "Okay." He looks at the distortion one last time. "Good night." Pause. "Whatever you are." Finn adds softly. "Rest easy out here." The distortion shifts once more, then settles. Quiet, uncertain, but no longer restless. The shadows welcome them back. As they step fully into the village again, the shadows return, sliding softly along the ground, stretching beside them, close, warm, familiar. Jake smiles a little. "Okay, yeah." Pause. "I like it better in here." Finn laughs quietly. Yeah, me too. The village breathes again. The air feels calm once more. The houses still. The paths quiet. But now, there's a sense of safety that wasn't fully understood before. Jake stretches. So that's what they do all night? Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. They keep the quiet. A light in the distance, farther into the village. A soft glow appears. Warmer than before. Gentler. Inviting. Jake notices. Hey. Pause. That wasn't there before. Finn looks toward it. Yeah. Pause. I figure that's where we go next. Jake yawns softly. Man, I'm getting sleepy again. Finn smiles. Good. Pause. We got a few more good nights to say. The deeper they walk into the village, the softer everything becomes. Not brighter, not louder, it's just easier to breathe in, like the night itself has settled more comfortably around them. The glow that wasn't there before. The soft light ahead grows clearer. It isn't coming from torches, or windows, or anything familiar. It seems to rise from the ground itself, like warmth remembering how to be light. Jake rubs his eyes a little. Okay, that's new. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. It wasn't here earlier. The shadows around them shift gently. Not tense anymore. Just attentive. Like they already know where this is going. A place made of quiet. They step into a wide open space at the center of the village, and everything changes slightly. The houses here are arranged in a circle. Not crowded, not chaotic. Just together. All facing inward. Jake whispers. This feels like the middle of everything. Finn looks around slowly. Yeah. Pause. Like the village is thinking from here. The shadows become gentle. The shadows that once stayed behind walls now move freely in the space, but differently. They are no longer sharp or stretched. They are soft, rounded. Almost like fabric moving in slow water. Jake watches one drift across the ground. They're calmer here. Finn nods. This is where they rest too. Pause. When nothing is coming. The center stone, at the very middle of the circle, there is a stone. Large, and smooth, not carved, not shaped by tools, just worn by time, and inside it, a faint glow pulses, slow, steady, like a sleeping heartbeat. Jake kneels slightly. Is that the source? Finn shakes his head gently. No. Pause. I think it's just where everything gathers. The shadows remember. As they stand there, the shadows begin to shift again. But not in alarm, not in defense. In memory. They move along the ground, forming soft shapes again. Not maps this time. Not warnings. Scenes. Jake squints. Finn? Pause. They're showing stuff. Finn nods. Yeah. What the village was before. In the shadows. The village changes. They see movement now. Not frightening. Just long ago. People walking. Not rushing. Not afraid. Just living quietly. The shadows walking beside them. Helping. Protecting. Never leaving. Jake whispers. So they've always been here. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. They learned how to stay awake so others could sleep. The agreement without words. The glowing stone in the center pulses once. Slowly. Then again. and the shadows respond. Not as individuals, but as one feeling. Jake tilts his head. It's like they're talking to it. Finn listens quietly. They are. Pause. Not with words. With trust. A safe kind of darkness. The light in the center grows slightly warmer. Not brighter. Just more present. And the shadows around it. Lean in. Not covering it. Not hiding it. Just staying close. Jake exhales slowly. So the dark here isn't scary. Finn shakes his head. No. Pause. It's on duty. A seat for visitors. Near the center stone, two small places in the ground shift slightly, forming soft stone seats. Jake notices. Oh, okay. That's convenient. Finn smiles faintly. I think it made those for us. They sit down slowly. The ground is warm, comforting, like it remembers every quiet night that ever passed through here. The village listening. For a while. They just sit. The shadows continued to move gently around them. Not performing. Not reacting. Just existing in calm rhythm. Jake leans back slightly. And you ever think darkness can feel like this? Pause. Finn thinks. I think it depends on what's inside it. The softest kind of protection. A shadow drifts closer. Not touching. Just near. Then settles beside Jake like a quiet companion. Jake doesn't move away. He just watches it. You guys don't sleep, do you? The shadow doesn't answer. But it leans slightly closer. Finn speaks softly. They don't need to. Pause. This is their resting. Something in the light. The center stone pulses again. And this time, the glow spreads outward. Slowly. Across the circle. Across the village. Not overwhelming. Just enough to be felt. Jake blinks slowly. It feels like everything's okay here. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. Because nothing here is alone. A gentle understanding. Finn looks around the circle. At the houses. At the shadows. At the soft, living quiet of the village. They don't fight the dark. Pause. They organize it. Jake chuckles softly. That's one way to put it. The invitation to stay still. The air grows even calmer. The shadows settle closer to the ground. The light steadies. Everything here feels like it has reached the same breath. Jake yawns again. Man, I could sleep right here. Finn smiles. Yeah. Pause. That's probably the idea. A final look at the village. They stand slowly. The village does not change as they move. It simply remains. Watching without eyes. Guarding without effort. Jake looks back one more time. I'm glad it's here. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. Me too. Walking toward the last glow. Ahead of them, a narrow path opens beyond the circle. And beyond it, a final stretch of night. Quieter than before. Softer than before. Jake stretches. One more stop? Finn smiles gently. One more good night. The village fades behind them. Not suddenly. Not like something ending. More like something gently lowering its voice. The soft glow at its center becomes smaller, warmer, farther away. And then it is simply part of the night again. The path that continues after safety. Finn and Jake walk along a narrow path beyond the village. The ground here is different. Less shaped, less cared for, but not abandoned. Just Untouched. Jake yawned softly. I didn't think there was more past it. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. But there always is. The air feels cooler here, but not unkind. Just honest. Shadows that don't follow but remember. Jake glances back. The village is still visible. Small now. Quiet. And the shadows. They are there too. But they do not follow. They do not leave. They simply remain where they belong. Jake whispers. They're staying behind. Finn nods gently. That's their job. Pause. Not to come with us, but to keep that place safe after we leave. The feeling of being watched without fear as they walk farther. The sense of being watched returns, but it is different now. Not from behind them, not from above. It feels like the entire night itself is aware of their movement. Jake slows slightly. It doesn't feel creepy anymore. Finn thinks for a moment. No. Pause. It feels aware of us, the same way we're aware of it. A quiet truth in the dark. The path curves gently upward. A low ridge ahead. And above it, the sky opens wider than before. More stars. More space. More silence. Jake looks up. I never noticed how big the night is. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. It doesn't end where we think it does. The memory of the village still remains, even though the village is far behind them. Something of it stays, not in sight, but in feeling, like warmth in their steps, like calm in their breathing. Jake speaks softly. I think it changed us a little. Finn smiles faintly. Yeah. Pause. That's what safe places do. A shape in the distance. Ahead. Something appears on the ridge. Not bright. Not dark. Just present. Still. Jake squints. Is that another village? Finn shakes his head slowly. No. Pause. I think that's something new. They slow down. Not afraid. Just attentive. The thing that waits without wanting. As they approach, the shape becomes clearer. It is not a building, not a creature, not a place. It is more like a pause in the world. A still point where everything feels slightly quieter. Jake whispers, "That feels weird." Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. But not unsafe. The air around it doesn't push, doesn't pull. It simply holds. The shadows are still behind them. Jake glances back once more. The village is now almost gone from view. But the shadows there, he imagines them still working, still watching, still keeping everything calm. Jake speaks softly. They never really left, did they? Finn answers gently. No. Pause. They just stayed where they're needed most. A new kind of goodbye. Finn stops walking. Jake does too. They stand at the edge of the ridge, looking forward, looking back, and for a moment, there is no urgency, no danger, just the simple fact of being between places. Jake says quietly, "So this is another goodbye, huh?" Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. But not the sad kind. Good night that travels both ways. Finn closes his eyes slightly and speaks softly into the night. Good night to the village that sleeps in safety. Pause. And good night to the shadows that stay awake for it. Jake adds, and good night to the road that doesn't rush us. A long pause. The wind moves gently across the ridge, not cold, just present, like a slow breath from the world itself. The night responds softly, For a moment, everything feels still. Then, very faintly, the air changes. Not visibly, not loudly, but deeply, like something somewhere acknowledges what was said. Jake notices it. Did you feel that? Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. I think it hurt us. Continuing without weight. They begin walking again, but lighter now. Not because the path changed, but because they did. Jake stretches his shoulders. This whole night feels different. Finn smiles softly. Yeah. Pause. Like we understand it a little more. The final stretch of night. Ahead. The ridge slopes down into open land again. Wide. Quiet. Endless. No villages now. No shapes waiting. Just the night itself. Spreading gently in all directions. Jake yawns again. I think I'm almost out. Finn nods. Good. Pause. That means we're getting close to the end of the journey. A soft promise to nothing and everything. Finn looks up at the sky. Stars steady, calm, unmoving. We'll come back sometime. Jake chuckles softly. Yeah, probably when the shadows need help again. Finn smiles. Yeah. Pause. Or when we just want to say goodnight. Walking into the quiet ending, they continue forward. Not fast, not slow, just steady. The night around them deepens, softens, and settles, as if preparing to rest with them. Jake's voice is barely above a whisper now. Good night, everything. Finn answers just as softly. Good night. The land ahead is no longer a path, no longer a road, no longer even something they are traveling through. It is just night, wide, open, endless, and finally, quiet in the way that feels complete. The last place the journey reaches. Finn and Jake stop walking without really deciding to. It just happens. Like the world itself gently agrees. This is far enough. Jake exhales slowly. We made it pretty far tonight. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. Far enough to say goodnight to almost everything. The sky above them is deep now. Not dark in a heavy way, but full, like a blanket of distant lights. What follows them is no longer behind them. Jake glances back once, but there's nothing to see. No village, no shadows, no glowing places. Just distance and memory. Jake speaks quietly. Do you think they're still there? Finn doesn't turn around. Yeah. Pause. But not in a way we need to see. Jake nods slowly. Right. The feeling of everything being watched, softly. The night feels different here. Not empty. Not silent. But aware. Like everything they met. The shadows that guarded the village. The still things in the field. The deep presence beneath the cave. Even the quiet water. All of it is now distant. Not gone. Just settled back into its own places. Jake whispers. It doesn't feel scary anymore. Finn nods gently. No. Pause. It feels like it trusts us now. A final seat in the open dark. They sit down together on the soft ground. No special place. No glowing center. No village circle. Just earth. Just night. Just them. Jake leans back slightly. This is actually kind of perfect. Finn smiles faintly. Yeah. Pause. No more things waiting around corners. No more edges. Just this. The wind moves slowly across the land. barely there, like it doesn't want to interrupt the memory of everything they saw. For a while, they don't speak, because everything they saw tonight is still there. Not as images, but as feeling. The gentle fireflies, the soft forest creature, the glowing water watcher, the silent standing ones in the field, the vast breathing cave, and the village where shadows stayed awake so others could sleep. Jake breaks the silence softly. We said goodnight to a lot of things. Finn nods. Yeah. Pause. And they all said it back in their own way. The night begins to close its eyes. Something subtle changes above them. The stars don't disappear, but they soften, like blinking slowly, like getting tired. Jake notices. Is it just me, or is everything getting quieter? Finn answers gently. It's not quieter. Pause. We're just listening less. Jake thinks about that, then nods. Yeah, that makes sense. No more distance between safe and strange. Finn looks at the sky. I think we've figured something out tonight. Jake tilts his head. Yeah? Finn nods. The dark isn't one thing. Pause. It's a lot of different things, all trying to exist without bothering each other. Jake smiles a little. And some of them just needed someone to say goodnight. Finn nods. Yeah. A soft goodbye that doesn't end anything. Finn speaks into the open air, not to anything specific, but to everything at once. Good night to the ones who stayed still. Pause. Good night to the ones who moved gently. Pause. Good night to the ones who watched without fear. Pause. Good night to the ones who protected without being seen. Jake adds sleepily. Good night to the weird stuff too. Finn chuckles softly. Yeah. Pause. Good night to all of it. The world settles with them. The air feels heavier now, not in weight, but in comfort. Like the world is finally settling in beside them. Jake's eyes are half closed. I think I could sleep anywhere right now. Finn nods. Good. Pause. That means we did it right. Everything that was moving stops needing to. Somewhere far away. Not visible. Not defined. Everything they encountered tonight feels still again. Not frozen. Not gone. Just resting, like it always wanted to. The final light fades softly. The last trace of glow, memory, feeling, presence begins to fade. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. Just slowly, like a candle being allowed to finish burning on its own. Jake whispers, Hey, Finn? Finn hums. Yeah? Thanks for walking through all that weird stuff with me. Finn smiles in the dark. Yeah. Pause. Thanks for not running from it. The night becomes only night. There is nothing left to explore now. Nothing left to explain. Nothing left to guard. Only the sky. Only the ground. Only breath. Finn and Jake lie back fully now, eyes closing. Not because they must, but because they can. The last good night. Finn speaks one final time. Soft. Barely there. Good night. Jake finishes it, already drifting. Everything. And the world answers without words. The night does not respond with sound, or light, or movement. It responds the only way it knows how, by becoming even quieter, even softer, even more still, until Finn and Jake are no longer watching it. And it is no longer watching them, only resting. Together. End of story. Sleep comes gently, And somewhere far beyond the edge of thought, the shadows that once guarded the village, the quiet creatures of deep places, and the night itself, all settle, not ending, just sleeping with everything else.